Right, the Viper's coming on quite nicely. It's probably about 2/3 of the way there. I haven't done much work on it, mainly through pulling my Achilles, but managed to crack on the last couple of days and finished the wings, painted all the inside internally, moved the air rams, sorting out the equipment trays, installed the turbine. So it's coming on nicely, should just be a few more days and it'll be finished. Firstly onto the wings. The servos have been installed. These are using these reinforced control horns I get from fighter races. A bit overkill for a model this size, but because you need such a big throw, almost an inch on some of these, I decided to use these. And as I used a ball link on one side, I decided to use a ball link on the other as well. The other problem is the flap. When it sits flush, the flap will only move that far. I need to chamfer the edge and then repaint it green. Inside it's all been painted grey. Here's the BVM brake tubing. As you say, it's much more flexible and a little less, so you can bend it before it kinks. A lot more than the Skymaster stuff, and it just looked much better. So the gear goes down nicely. This air ram here, I've used a larger air ram and installed it a little bit further outboard of the hinge line to get some mechanical advantage on the door. Previously, the air rams were installed here, running perpendicular to the bottom of the fuselage, and then attached there, and it was always not going to work. It was just going to open in flight during manoeuvres, so they had to be moved. I think on the later versions the air rams are moved. Anyway, I made a little bit of structure up there to put it in. Turbine's not in the moment, but it's all installed and sorted. Other wing, well, it's the same, unsurprisingly, as the last. Just so you can see here, this is the multiplex plug, and that will be glued into the wing, and you can see how it will go eventually. So that will just plug into there nice and neatly, and then you'll be able to plug the other multiplex into there. The rudders have the same sort of control horns on as the ailerons and flaps. Now this rudder came pre-installed by Skymaster, so the hinges are glued on. My only issue is the back of the rudder post, or the fin post I should say, is about here, and the hinge point's there. So you have about 10mm of plastic hinge that's unsupported. Now I think I'd almost destroy it trying to get the rudder off, having looked at it. But you can see that we can flex it either side. If it was a larger rudder, if it was the larger Viper, I'd have to take it off, but I'm pretty sure it'd be fine on the smaller one. And because the hinge line's so far back, you can see the large gap on top of the rudder. I mean, ideally this should be much further in, but anyway, it looks okay as it is. What I've been doing in here is just positioning all the equipment, run the airlines, just provisionally placed the equipment. I made my own trays up and these will be painted. In the centre here will be the airfields and some gauges for this EV5U valve from Air Power. The HS6014 receiver going at the front, trying to keep it away from everything else as possible. Regarding fuel, we're going to have a Jubro 40 ounce tank Again, it'll all be painted to look nice. It'll sit up there just to increase the capacity. Now with the main tank, which is this Kevlar thing here, I'm going to have to move that hole further down. And also, it's not a very good tank really. I've had a lot better. There are millions of pinholes in it. I'm not even going to bother pressure testing it. I'm just going to coat it in another layer of resin. I think it would just be, it's only useful as a sieve at the moment, but I should cure that. I'll do that tonight. So this will sit in here with the ECU down there. I'll have it, it'll be on a little raised platform just in case there is any fuel leak. I'm going to pull down, and then the main fuel and equipment tray will go in like so, and you'll be able to get it out nice and quickly. I like to keep all the things with the fuel tubing runs as short as possible. So that's as far as I've got to. I've just got to wire everything up, and it should be ready very soon. I haven't really experienced many issues, just things with the flaps. I've polished a few areas just to test it, and it's come up really nicely. All of the batteries in the front, the 9mm, and depending on the balance, the large ECU battery will either go under here or in the nose. Just see how the CG goes. So regarding the cockpit and canopy frame, what I did is underneath I've reinforced it with ply, hyacinth around the edges, and then it's screwed into the bottom of the canopy frame. And then up here it's been repainted and fitted. It fits quite nicely, and now it's just one unit that you can take in and out without much of an issue, and it fits quite well. You just got to be careful with the depth of it. So it's the first thing I do with these models is do the full depth cockpit and then start installing everything afterwards. I've learnt from experience that having done a nice neat install and finding the cockpit won't fit. The cockpit itself's alright. I mean, I've seen better, but for the money you can't complain. It just finishes it off nicely.